Welcome to The Explainer. From GPT to Llama, AI is absolutely everywhere and it feels like it's changing everything. But what's actually under the hood? What's the engine that's driving this whole revolution? Well, today we're going to take a look. So let's start with the big question. What is the secret sauce here? I mean, what's the one fundamental breakthrough that really makes all of these incredible tools possible? Well, the answer actually takes us all the way back to 2017. It's a single, revolutionary breakthrough that completely changed the game, the Transformer.
Yeah, it's called the Transformer. So what made it so special? Before the Transformer, models had to read a sentence word by word, in order. But the Transformer could look at the entire sentence all at once and figure out which words were most important to each other. That grasp of context, it was a seismic shift. And the funny thing is, it was originally designed just for language translation. But this one idea turned out to be the bedrock for pretty much every large language model we use today. It didn't just move the goalposts, it built a whole new stadium.
So once the Transformer was out in the wild, it kicked off this incredible race. And for a while, the goal seemed pretty simple. Build bigger, build more complex, and build more powerful models. It was a race to scale.
And just look at how fast things started moving. The Transformer lands in 2017. A year later, just 1 year, we get GPT and BERT. Then jump to 2020, and GPT-3 shows off this almost magical ability called zero-shot learning, where it can do things it was never explicitly trained for. By 2023, you've got powerful open models like Llama hitting the scene. The time between these major breakthroughs just keeps getting shorter and shorter. It's wild. For a long time, the thinking in the field was, pretty straightforward. If you wanted better performance, the path forward was just to scale everything up, make the model bigger, and feed it way more data. Bigger was just better. But as you can probably guess, this simple strategy of bigger is always better very quickly snowballed into a huge, and I mean huge, unsustainable problem. And that's the core issue right there, sustainability. Trying to train these absolutely enormous models from the ground up every single time, it takes an astronomical amount of time, a ton of money, and just raw, brute force computational power. And the cost isn't just financial, not by a long shot. It's environmental. Just take a look at this comparison. The carbon footprint from pre-training just one of these big AI models can completely dwarf an average person's entire yearly footprint. It's staggering. And this really gets to the heart of it. This approach just doesn't work for everybody. I mean, imagine if every single research team or every student or every small company had to start from absolute zero every time. The global cost in energy, time, and money would be absolutely insane, just incredibly wasteful. So, how do you solve a problem like that? Well, thankfully, the community came together and figured out a really brilliant and way more efficient two-step solution. So instead of starting from a totally blank slate every single time, the community landed on this idea called transfer learning. And let me tell you, the difference is like night and day. Training from scratch is slow, it's super expensive, and it's incredibly data hungry. The smart way? You build on what's already there. It's faster, it's cheaper, and you need way, way less data.
Okay, so here's how it works. First, you have pre-training. A gigantic foundational model is trained just once on a massive ocean of text from the internet. It learns grammar, facts, reasoning. Basically, it gets a general understanding of how language works. Then, step 2, fine-tuning. You take that incredibly powerful, already trained model, and you just tweak it a little bit using a small, specialized data set for whatever task you have in mind. The best analogy? Pre-training is like getting a PhD in general knowledge. Fine-tuning is like taking a weekend course to become an expert in one very specific subject. And that elegant two-step solution right there, that is exactly why the open sharing of these big, pre-trained AI models is so incredibly important. See, this is why sharing isn't just a, nice thing to do. It's literally the engine of progress. When one big team does the heavy lifting of that expensive pre-training and then shares the result, it saves everyone else a fortune and slashes the industry's carbon footprint. It lets students, researchers, and small companies build amazing tools they could never afford to make from scratch. It truly democratizes the technology. It allows for fast, sustainable progress for everybody. And all of this brings us to a really central and kind of challenging question facing the field right now. If this shared, collaborative approach is the real key to efficient, sustainable, and fair progress, what kind of future are we building when the most powerful AI models are kept locked away behind closed doors? It's definitely something to think about.